At some point during the Buriram test, Fabio Quartararo looked down at his brand new Yamaha V4, the machine he stayed loyal for, the machine he turned down better offers to wait for, the machine that was supposed to end 4 years of suffering, and gave it the middle finger. That gesture told you everything the lap times were already saying. 16th place, a second off the pace, 10 kilometers per hour slower on every straight, and a world champion whose patience, after years of defending a team that kept letting him down, has finally run out. So let's break down where Yamaha actually are, what the Buriram test showed, and what the next few months mean for one of MotoGP's most important storylines. And if you're new here, this is the channel that doesn't let the big stories go unexamined. Subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. The numbers from Buriram are stark. Jack Miller was the fastest Yamaha in 16th overall, a 1 minute 29.672, more than a second behind Marco, Bezzecchi's outright benchmark. Quartararo finished 17th, just 29 thousandths behind Miller. Alex Rins was 20th, the entire Yamaha garage covered by 2/10, sitting a second off the front. And the problem Quartararo named is not subtle. It's frustrating to lose 10 kilometers per hour on the straights, not just on this circuit, but across all tracks. 10 kilometers per hour. That is not a setup choice or a tyre compound question. That is a fundamental power deficit written into the architecture of a machine that hasn't been developed long enough. The V4 power plant was supposed to solve Yamaha's straight-line misery. For now, it has simply replaced one form of misery with another. He went further. I'm not able to turn the bike the way I want. I'm not able to make lap times come smoothly. The tyre drops quite a lot. The bike is spinning a lot on acceleration. There are many things to improve. Read that list slowly. Every item on it represents a core competency: corner entry, tyre, management, power delivery, exit stability. And Quartararo is telling you all of them need work. This is not a small gap. This is a machine in the early stages of becoming what it needs to be, asked to race before it's ready. We're going to track every one of those problems across the season. So if that's the kind of coverage you want, subscribe and you won't miss a round. Now, Miller is approaching the same situation from a very different emotional angle. He completed 20 laps in a race simulation averaging in the high 1:32 seconds, which, against Marc Marquez's 2025 race-winning average of around 1:31.3, puts Yamaha potentially 40 to 50 seconds behind the projected winner over a Grand Prix distance. Miller knows exactly what those numbers mean. He's lived through new machine development cycles before, at KTM, when they were still learning what the RC16 was, and he understands that raw lap time in pre-season is only part of the story. Today was busy and tough. We completed 2 long runs of around 20 laps each, and that's part of the process when you're working with a new motorcycle, trying to understand it and develop it. And then, characteristically, the measured optimism. We know there are clear areas we need to improve, but I can feel it getting better step by step. That is a man choosing his framing deliberately. He's absolutely convinced the V4 project will eventually deliver. He might even be right, but the contrast between Miller's quiet determination and Quartararo's visible exasperation is creating a temperature in the Yamaha camp that the team simply cannot afford. Not when they're already this far behind the benchmark. Because while Yamaha works out how to use a front tyre and find 10 kilometers per hour, Ducati and Aprilia are doing something different. They are refining. Marco Bezzecchi set the fastest lap in Buriram test history, a 1 minute 28.813, and ran 20 laps matching Marquez's sprint-winning pace from last year. Ayogura set the fastest sprint simulation of the test. These are not teams on an upward curve anymore. They are already at the top of it, adding precision to machines that have been competition tested for seasons. Every week, Yamaha spends stabilizing its platform is a weak Ducati and Aprilia spend building a gap that gets harder to close. If you want the full Aprilia and Ducati breakdown alongside this, both videos are on the channel. Hit subscribe to keep them coming. And underneath all of this sits the question nobody at Yamaha wants to answer out loud. Is Quartararo actually going to be here to see the V4 become competitive? Reports emerged in January that he had already agreed a 2-year deal with Honda from 2027. He denied signing anything, but confirmed Honda is one of the teams he is actively talking to. And, when asked if he was already working on it, he responded with a lip-zipped gesture. His Yamaha contract expires at the end of this season. Yamaha boss Massimo Meregali confirmed. The team hadn't even begun renewal conversations at the bike launch. Honda boss Alberto Puig called Quartararo certainly a fantastic rider, not a denial, notably, while insisting nothing is defined. The paddock read that correctly. And crucially, Quartararo had already made peace with his decision before turning a single competitive lap on the V4. He decided on shakedown times and gut feel, which tells you exactly what that gut said. The irony is devastating. Quartararo stayed at Yamaha because they promised him a V4. He renewed in 2024 when he could have left. Reportedly had Aprilia conversations that fell apart on salary, trusting the new engine would put him back in title contention. And now the V4 has arrived, it isn't ready, and he's flipping it off in Buriram while the Honda door swings quietly open. If 2026 goes badly, and Buriram suggests badly is the realistic baseline, Yamaha faces a scenario where their star rider leaves mid-development, Jorge Martin, takes his seat for 2027, and the V4 project loses its primary technical reference point at the exact moment the new 850 cubic centimetres regulations arrive. Not a catastrophe yet, but a sequence of events that requires the V4 to show genuine progress quickly, before the season makes the decision for everyone. The Thai Grand Prix starts this weekend at this track, and Yamaha's best hope is a points finish in the lower half of the top 15 while everyone else fights for the win. That is where they are right now. The V4 era isn't a failure. It's a project that was always going to require patience. But patience has a cost when the man you built the whole thing around is already looking at the exit. The question isn't whether the V4 will eventually be competitive. It's whether Quartararo is still a Yamaha rider when it is. What do you think? Is Yamaha's V4 a slow burn master plan, or did they run out of time before it even started? Drop it in the comments, subscribe, and hit the bell.